In our headlines on this Thursday afternoon, July 25th, here in South Korea. Findings for the second quarter of this year show the Korean economy retreating 0.2% on quarter, with pundits linking the negative performance to the market losing steam after a strong rebound in the previous quarter. And delays in payments to sellers by e-commerce platforms TMON and Wemakeprice lead to unilateral cancellations of purchased products for customers who in turn are facing challenges in securing refunds. Meanwhile, at the US Congress on Wednesday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urges lawmakers to fast-track additional military support as Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza nears 10 months. Korea's economy shrank 0.2% on quarter during the second quarter of this year, weighed down by lackluster consumer spending as well as sluggish construction investment. Our Park Gonu reports.
South Korea's real gross domestic product fell in the second quarter of 2024, dropping by 0.2% from the previous quarter. That's according to advanced estimates released by the Bank of Korea on Thursday. It's the biggest fall in on-quarter growth since a 0.5% drop in real GDP in the fourth quarter of 2022. The BOK says the fall in GDP in the second quarter of this year is due to the base effect, due to a strong first quarter, as well as a lower level of private consumption and construction investment. It also said annual growth will still reach its earlier targets when considering the overall growth rate for the first half of the year.
It's hard to say the economy got worse just because it grew a lot in the first quarter and then shrank in the second quarter. The economy grew 2.8% in the first half of the year, and if the latter half grows by 2.2% as predicted, that leads to an annual growth rate calculation of 2.5%. The economic growth is in line with the annual growth target set earlier.
The BOK also spoke about other factors behind the fall in real GDP in the second quarter. Private consumption dropped by 0.2% on quarter as spending on goods, including motor vehicles and clothing, declined. Construction investment also contracted by 1.1%, while exports saw a rise of 0.9% on quarter, mainly due to car and chemical product exports. There was also a 1.2% rise in imports. The central bank said domestic demand will be able to recover in the near future as they forecast exports to keep increasing and high costs to possibly stabilize. Park Gonu, Arirang News.
On a more positive note, SK hynix has shared promising second quarter profits given its edge over the global competition in advanced memory chips crucial for AI computing. Our Yoon has details.
On Thursday, the world's second-largest memory chip maker, SK hynix, reported its highest quarterly profit in 6 years on the back of sales of its premium memory chips in a market where demand for AI computing technology continues to rise. In the April to June period, the company posted an operating profit of 5.46 trillion won, or around $3.95 billion. This is the largest quarterly operating profit for the company since the third quarter of 2018. A time that was dubbed a period of prosperity for chip manufacturers when it reported $4.67 billion. Compared with the company's loss of around $2 billion a year earlier, its revenue surged 124.8% to a record $11.84 billion. SK hynix said the rise in overall prices of DRAM and NAND products, along with strong demand for AI memories including HBM or high bandwidth memory, is what led to a 32% increase in revenue compared to the previous quarter, adding that favorable exchange rates also factored into the second quarter. According to SK hynix, demand for AI server memories is expected to continue to rise in the second half of the year, which means sales of high-performance memory products will continue to increase. SK hynix is a key HBM supplier to the US AI chip giant NVIDIA, a major player in the AI semiconductor market with its graphics processing units. Going forward, the company plans to further develop its memory chip technology to maintain its competitive advantage. Yoon, Arirang News.
Delays in payments to sellers by two popular e-commerce platforms have led to unilateral cancellations of purchased products for customers who in turn are facing challenges in securing refunds. Our Kim Jang-shil explains.
When it fell fast. The fourth and fifth largest e-commerce retailers in the country, TMON and Wemakeprice, both subsidiaries of Singapore-based platform gov't, are making headlines for payment delays and being unable to give refunds to customers. TMON's headquarters in Gangnam has its windows covered with blinds, and few people are going in and out of the building. Hundreds of customers visited the headquarters of TMON and Wemakeprice as the news made headlines since Wednesday over the payment crisis. TMON and Wemakeprice make their money by enlisting sellers such as travel agencies on their websites. Through advertising, promotions, and discounts and the ease of being able to compare similar products at once, they attract customers who pay for these products through TMON and Wemakeprice rather than paying the seller directly. The websites then take a commission and give payments to sellers the following month. Payments for transactions in June were due by mid-July, but sellers are still yet to receive those payments. Since credit card transactions are blocked, anyone who made purchases through their credit card must contact the retailers directly and ask for refunds. The news broke out as customers shared their experience online of canceled plane tickets and tour packages as the holiday season approached. TMON stated that it aims to get operations back to normal as quickly as possible. The Wemakeprice CEO also came to the headquarters early Thursday and promised refunds. As of last month, TMON, Wemakeprice, and other gov't subsidiaries had a combined total of 9 million users. Industry experts estimate that the damage will exceed 100 billion won, or about $72 million. As the incident severely affects citizens, Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok on Thursday instructed relevant agencies to closely examine the situation and asked officials to make every effort to protect customers and prevent further damage to sellers. Kim Jung-sil, Arirang News.
In other news, South Korea and the Czech Republic will set up a hotline and host regular meetings on nuclear energy cooperation. Now, these intentions follow the recent selection of a Korean consortium led by Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power as the preferred bidder to build 2 nuclear reactors in the Czech Republic. According to the top office here, a special delegation dispatched by President Yoon Suk-yeol this week has delivered to his Czech counterpart, Petra Fiala, a letter of appreciation to which the latter reportedly shared his own words of congratulation. A hotline will be established between the relevant ministries of their 2 countries to coordinate project-related efforts. Also, President Yoon is expected to travel to the Czech Republic in September to further discuss the joint nuclear power initiative. And President Yoon Suk-yeol has tapped former Vice Finance Minister Kim Wan-sup to head the Environment Ministry. The appointment was shared in a confirmation hearing report to the National Assembly earlier on Wednesday. Kim is reportedly a career bureaucrat with extensive experience in budget planning. He has also worked on various environment-related projects, including the introduction of Korea's first compressed natural gas buses. Washington has announced new sanctions against a network of 6 individuals and 5 institutions based in China, accused of assisting North Korea's ballistic missile and space programs. According to the U.S. Treasury Department back on Wednesday, the regime leverages foreign incorporated firms to procure materials for its hostile weapons program via repackaging to conceal the true end user from manufacturers and distributors. These latest sanctions follow North Korea's rampant violations of UN Security Council resolutions, including a failed satellite launch in May. And at the U.S. Congress also on Wednesday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged lawmakers across the aisle to fast-track additional military support as Israel's war against Hamas, that is, in Gaza, nears 10 months. Our Lee Sing-jae reports.
Amid heavy controversy over the handling of the prolonged conflict in Gaza, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stood before Congress on Wednesday and called for continued support from the United States.
In World War II, as Britain fought on the front lines of civilization, Winston Churchill appealed to Americans with these famous words: "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." Today, as Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal to America. Give us the tools faster and we'll finish the job faster.
The Israeli leader also stressed that Israel will achieve total victory and nothing less, which he said means that Israel will fight until it completely destroys Hamas's military capability, ends its rule in Gaza, and brings the hostages home. He added that his vision of a post-war Gaza is a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. However, Netanyahu's speech was not completely met with open arms, as some 50 Democrats decided to boycott it. These included several high-profile Democrats, such as Vice President and potential presidential candidate Kamala Harris and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The protest could signal that a potential win by Harris come November's presidential election could mean the end of support from Washington to Israel. Netanyahu's speech was also met with thousands of protesters outside Congress. Many accused Netanyahu of being a war criminal, as the Israeli military's operations have led to tens of thousands of Palestinian civilians being killed, including women and children. The U.S. Capitol Police announced on its social media page that 5 people in the House gallery were arrested for disrupting the speech, adding that disrupting the Congress and demonstrating in the congressional building is against the law. The Israeli leader was not shy about blasting those protesting his speech, calling the protesters useful idiots of Iran and accusing Tehran of funding the anti-Israel protests. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, some 150,000 Palestinians fled Khan Younis in a span of 24 hours back on Monday, following evacuation orders from Israel. Now, this is according to the UN Humanitarian Office, as this city is now the center of a new Israeli offensive aimed at countering Hamas. The latest assaults are aimed at eastern Khan Younis that had previously been designated as a humanitarian zone. Gaza health authorities claim over 100 people have been killed in the city thus far. The opening ceremony of the 2024 Summer Olympics kicks off later on this Friday over in Paris, and following the flamboyant affair, among the games scheduled for tomorrow, that is Saturday, is that of badminton, for which Korea now has a tough and experienced team to contend against. Our Choi Soo-young has details.
Since the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, South Korea has been one of the dominant countries in badminton, winning a total of 19 medals, including 6 golds. However, in the 2010s, many star players retired at the same time, leaving behind relatively young athletes. As a result, the Korean badminton team won just 1 bronze medal each during 3 consecutive Olympics. However, thanks to the newly replaced generation, a new golden era has come for the team. At last year's Hangzhou Asian Games, the team won a total of 7 medals, signaling a resurgence. The gold medalist in women's singles at the Hangzhou Games and current world number 1, An Se-young, is the top contender for a title in Paris. This year, she has won 3 out of 7 open matches. Her biggest rival is China's Chen Yufei. An is determined to show her best performance on the Olympic stage.
Preparing for the Olympics has been incredibly challenging. Given the immense support and attention I received, I realized the only way to give back is through my performance. So I focused solely on overcoming my injury and perfecting my badminton skills.
In women's doubles, Lee So-hee and Baek Hana are also strong gold medal contenders. They won the prestigious All England Open Badminton Championships for 2 consecutive years and also clinched the Asian Championships this year. In mixed doubles, Seo Seung-jae and Chae Yu-jung are aiming for Olympic gold. They won the World Championship last year, and both being left-handed, they believe their powerful smashes and unique playing style give them a strong advantage.
In badminton, a left-handed combination is rare and considered unique. When playing against right-handed opponents, the variations in our shots are very different and can be quite powerful.
The South Korean badminton team, aiming for at least 2 gold medals, will begin their matches on the 27th. Choi Soo-young, Arirang News.
Right, pundits say cultural collaboration may serve to disentangle cultural conflicts. That being said, Korea this year is hosting a biannual exhibition showcasing the handicrafts of East Asia. Our An Sang-jin was there.
Every 2 years, the National Museum of Korea, the Tokyo National Museum of Japan, and the National Museum of China host special exhibitions to appreciate each other's cultures and promote friendship among the 3 neighboring countries. The exhibition takes place by rotating between the 3 host nations, and this year it's being held in Seoul.
The theme of this year's exhibition is lacquerware. Here you can see nearly 50 pieces that show the difference in lacquerware across East Asia.
Lacquerware displayed in the exhibition brings in pieces from the 14th to 19th centuries. All 3 nations have their own distinctive style.
It's easier to see it as 3 exhibitions that make one huge exhibition. Without being biased towards any one country, all 3 get to share their own lacquerware culture.
Korean lacquerware, known as chilgi, or more specifically dajeon chilgi, is known for its mother-of-pearl style, from decorative pieces to household items and furniture.
Mother-of-pearl lacquerware is known all over the world, so I chose it as a piece that represents Korea. It's made with high-quality mother-of-pearl and thick pearl-color shells, which add value to it.
It has shells and turtle shell embellishments on woodwork to create various floral patterns. Unlike Korea, which focused on mother-of-pearl lacquerware, Japan and China have worked on lacquerware techniques. Japanese makia lacquerware had its decorative technique where it added gold or silver powder onto lacquer designs, which gives it 3-dimensional patterns. China is centered on carved lacquerware, giving dimensions to flat wooden artwork and adding multiple colors through embossing and gluing.
I've taken Korean and East Asian history classes at school and wanted to see how lacquerware differs between the 3 countries. It's more than just black woodwork with shells, as I thought they would be.
The exhibition will run until September 22nd, allowing visitors to enjoy the elegant beauty of various lacquerware pieces. An Sang-jin, Arirang News.
Now let's take a look at the latest news in the world now. Typhoon Kemi, with wind speeds of around 240 kilometers per hour, has made landfall on Taiwan's east coast, wreaking havoc on the island territory and leading to the suspension of financial markets, schools and work. Kemi, expected to be the strongest storm to hit Taiwan in 8 years, has already killed 3 people and injured over 200. Almost all domestic flights and over 200 international flights have been cancelled, while rail services have been suspended. High-speed trains will still run, according to the Transport Ministry. The authorities are reported to have 29,000 soldiers on standby for relief efforts, while over 8,000 people have been evacuated from areas at high risk of landslides. While Kemi didn't make landfall in the Philippines, the storm's outer winds en route to Taiwan have already killed 13 people there, as it exacerbated already severe floods and landslides from high monsoon rainfall. Typhoon Kemi is due to reach China late on Thursday or early Friday. Germany's Interior Ministry said it had placed a ban on the Islamic Center Hamburg and its subsidiary organizations on Wednesday for allegedly pursuing radical Islamist goals and supporting Iran and Hezbollah. Interior Minister Nancy Faeser said that she banned the Islamic Center as it was promoting Islamist extremist totalitarian ideologies in Germany, and that this Islamist ideology is opposed to human dignity, women's rights, an independent judiciary, and our democratic government. Faeser added that the ban was not an act against the religion. The ministry stated that 53 of the organization's premises in 8 German states were searched early on Wednesday under a court order. It also added that the IZH promoted anti-Semitism and acted as a direct representative of Iran's supreme leader, seeking to bring an Islamic revolution in Germany. 4 Shiite mosques were closed as a result of the ban, including the Hamburg-based IZH and its subgroups in Berlin, Frankfurt and Munich. A passenger plane crashed soon after taking off from the Nepalese capital, Kathmandu, killing 18 of the 19 people on board. The authorities say that the pilot was the only survivor of Wednesday's crash. The Sayuria Airlines regional passenger plane that crashed and caught fire was en route to the Himalayan tourism hub of Pokhara, carrying mostly company employees, including technical staff and 2 crew members. According to Nepal's Civil Aviation Authority, the 50-seater Bombardier CRJ-200 aircraft took off shortly after 11 a.m. local time from Kathmandu's Tribhuvan International Airport before turning right and crashing into the eastern section of the airport. The Aviation Authority confirmed that 18 Nepalis and 1 Yemeni national were on the plane. The only survivor from the crash, the aircraft's pilot, was rescued from the debris and taken to hospital, where he was confirmed to be not in any danger. Tribhuvan International Airport was closed for several hours, but was able to reopen later. Nepal is prone to aircraft crashes due to both insufficient training and maintenance of the aviation industry and the country's treacherous terrain. Residents of Salt Lake City in Utah cheered in the early morning hours of Wednesday after the International Olympic Committee announced the city as the host of the 2034 Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games. The U.S. city, host to the 2002 Winter Games, won 83 votes out of 89 at the ROC session after being named the preferred choice in June. Salt Lake City's bid committee leader, Fraser Bullock, said, "We are ready, everything is in place," adding that the city's human capital goes beyond our physical assets and that as great as our venues are, our people are even better. Salt Lake City initially sought the 2030 Games spot, but scrapped its plans as it was too close to the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. The 2030 Winter Games were awarded to the French Alps. Kim Wan-sup, Arirang News.
Good afternoon. Most parts of Korea had a tropical night, and afternoon temperatures are forecast to go up 2 to 4 degrees higher this afternoon. Heat wave alerts remain in place on this Chungbok, the onset of the second phase of the midsummer heat based on the lunar calendar. And along with the heat, UV rays will be high or very high across much of Korea. So have your sun gear handy when heading outside. But that doesn't mean we don't need an umbrella today. There is a chance of passing rain showers in most areas during the afternoon. Southern provinces could see heavier rain of up to 30 millimeters an hour. Checking on the temperatures now, Seoul and Gwangju should see a high of 33 degrees. Daegu, Gyeongju topping out at 35 degrees Celsius this afternoon. Now, tropical storm Kemi has made landfall in Taiwan and will hit southeastern China this afternoon. And due to Kemi, Korea's south coast and Jeju will see downpours tomorrow and into Saturday. With that in mind, let's take a look at the international weather conditions. Right, that ends our Thursday afternoon newscast. Coming up next is our daily panel session. Do stay with us.